If two children brutally murder their parents, it is not because they want to go shopping. It is because there is a deeper, darker secret lying beneath the surface. However, would people believe their story? Let's find out right now. Wicked Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrincou, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and you're ready to hear a true crime story with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, are y'all drinking that water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are y'all getting those tickers up? Remember, just a quick 20-30 minute walk, especially first thing in the morning, get those endorphins up, and you are going to have an amazing, wonderful day, I promise you. And thank you all for joining me tonight on Wicked Wednesday as we get into this video. Yes, today we are going to be covering part 2 of the Menendez brothers. As you all know, when I research a case, I research every single detail about the case. I read every book, I watched every documentary, and I found tons of research on the internet. I thought I knew everything about this case, but this case was very traumatic, and I found out tons of new details about the parents. Not only Jose, but Kitty as well. Very disturbing details. And as a mother, we are all supposed to protect our children from any harm. But in my opinion, Kitty Menendez did not protect her children, and we are going to get into details right now. The 1980s arrived, and so did Jose Menendez. He rose to the ranks in companies such as Hertz and RCA Records, and it was also said that Jose Menendez hired O.J. Simpson to do the Hertz commercials. Can y'all believe that? That's huge because everyone knew that O.J. Simpson was the Hertz man. And according to several people, Jose Menendez is the one that hired O.J. Simpson. Eventually, Jose became the chief operating officer at RCA Records, earning a salary of $500,000 a year. In 1986, Jose Menendez decided to move his family from New Jersey to Southern California. Jose Menendez and their family moved to Calabasas, California, in an 8,000 square foot home on 13 acres. And as we all know, Calabasas is a beautiful area, very exclusive and very expensive. People such as the Kardashians have lived in Calabasas. Kitty Menendez was not very happy about the move. In fact, she was devastated about the move. She did not want to move to California. Jose Menendez suggested to Kitty, since you're so upset over the move, why don't you stay in New Jersey with Lyle and I'll go to California with Erik? Kitty Menendez was like, oh no, you're not leaving me here. I'm not staying over here while you go over there in California. We all going to California. Well, there was a good reason why Kitty Menendez was going to follow her husband and not stay behind. In 1986, Kitty Menendez found out that her husband, Jose, was having an 8-year-long affair with a woman. Kitty was devastated and knew she could never trust Jose again. In the same year, 1986, the oldest son, Lyle, started attending Princeton. Lyle struggled academically and was accused of plagiarizing a paper for his psychology class. The university found out about it, and it was said that the university told Lyle he could not come back for 1 year and was asked to leave. Jose Menendez was livid. Jose was so upset with Lyle, but especially with the school. How could they kick his son out of school? How could they believe that his son would do this? Jose got on a plane, flew to New Jersey, and tried to convince the school to allow Lyle to stay and not kick him out. Jose was unsuccessful. The school said absolutely not. He has to go. Lyle and Jose got on a plane back to California. And at this time, Kitty Menendez was extremely depressed. She started drinking heavily. She was upset about the move, about Jose's affair, and the guilt she had over her boys. In my opinion, I believe that Kitty Menendez felt a lot of guilt. Remember, Lyle Menendez told his mother, told Kitty, that his father was abusing him, essaying him. And Kitty didn't believe him and told him that he was exaggerating, that they loved him and his father wasn't doing that, to stop saying that. So in my opinion, Kitty Menendez knew there was something going on in the house. In my opinion, I believe Kitty knew about the essay and about the abuse. But Kitty was trapped. Where was Kitty gonna go? She didn't have anything. She didn't have a job. She was stuck in California. She was living there. What was she gonna do? She didn't know what to do. She knew she couldn't divorce her husband. Where was she gonna go? She wanted her boys. She knew her husband had all this power. She wasn't gonna leave him. Instead, she began taking pills and drinking to put a void in her broken heart, because Kitty Menendez was severely depressed. And around this time, Lyle and Erik Menendez were star tennis players. They won several of their matches and had the best of the best tennis coaches. And they were not the only ones in the family that were rising to the top. Jose Menendez was signing very successful artists like Duran Duran, and we all know the song Hungry Like the Wolf, as well as Puerto Rican band Menudo. And Menudo was huge in Puerto Rico and America as well. It was said that Jose Menendez was extremely obsessed with Ricky Martin, who was part of the band and from Puerto Rico. And we all know Ricky Martin. We all know his songs. He has been around for years and years and years. And remember the name Menudo, because we are going to talk about Menudo in another video. And around this time, Lyle and Erik Menendez were hanging out with the wealthiest of the wealthy, the rich of the rich. They knew everybody in Beverly Hills, and they hung around with very, very wealthy kids. And in 1988, Erik Menendez, the younger brother, was 17 years old when he started burglarizing homes. Everyone found out about it. Jose Menendez went to the Malibu police station in a van with all the recovered items, drove up to the police station, gave them the items, and wrote a check for $11,000 to cover the items that were not recovered. And it was also said that he made his sons apologize to the families. And this is the only time that I believe Jose Menendez did the right thing by making his sons apologize and by returning everything and covering all expenses. He did the right thing with his sons at that time. And Erik Menendez's punishment was community service and to see a psychologist. Kitty Menendez was seeing a psychologist as well in Beverly Hills at this time. And this psychologist, it was said, referred her to Dr. Jerome Oziel, who was going to be a key witness in this case. So y'all do not forget Dr. Jerome Oziel. And do y'all want to know the reason why Jose Menendez believed that Dr. Oziel was a good fit for Erik and the family? Well, I'm going to tell y'all. It was said that Dr. Jerome Oziel signed a paper that said that he was going to relay everything to Jose that Erik told him. Now, are y'all realizing this? Everyone failed these children. Everyone. Erik believed he couldn't confide in anyone because he knew that Dr. Oziel was going to relay everything that he was discussing to his father, Jose. Jose wanted to know everything that Erik was telling him. So everyone knew that Jose Menendez was hearing everything Erik was saying. And I'm telling y'all, when I heard this, I said to myself, these kids were telling everybody about what they went through, their family, their parents, other cousins, and now this psychologist. And Erik knew the psychologist was going to tell Jose. So these kids had no one to turn to. And I'm going to give you all a trigger warning, because in the next few minutes, I will be discussing SA and abuse. So if you don't want to hear about SA and abuse, please fast forward to the next part of the video. Erik says that his father would use different tools to SA him. And as y'all remember, in part 1 of the video, I described Lyle Menendez, who was being SA'd from the age of 6 to 8. And Lyle describes that his father would use tools to SA him. And around this time, when Erik was getting SA, he said he was very angry, very frustrated, and he would take Erik into the woods and do the same thing to Erik. Lyle was crying on the stand, crying, devastated, turned to his baby brother and apologized to Erik. He was absolutely devastated what he had done to Erik in the past. But Lyle was a child. Lyle didn't know better. He didn't know what he was doing was wrong. He was just a little boy. In the summer of 1989, Erik Menendez graduates in Beverly Hills. Erik is excited because he wants to go to Stanford University. But Jose Menendez said, oh no, not only are you not going to Stanford, you are going to go to UCLA and you are going to live at home. You are not going to live on campus. Erik was absolutely devastated. He wanted to go to Stanford. He wanted to be away from his father. He wanted to be away from the abuse, and he wanted to live his own life. He was tired of being SA, tired of being controlled, and tired of being abused. Jose put a stop to everything, and Erik describes it as being very traumatic. He was devastated. He was hurt. He was angry. He did not know what to do because he waited his whole life to get away from his father. And he knew that the only time he would be able to get away is whenever he moved away from him and went to college. But Jose put a stop to that right away. Could you imagine what Erik was going through at this time? How he felt like he had just nowhere to turn. He was stuck again. He was going to be staying at home. Erik was just mortified. He was horrified. He did not want to stay home. But Erik was going to go to UCLA and live at home. In late July of 1989, Kitty Menendez told her psychologist that she was hiding sick and embarrassing secrets about her family, and she believed that her 2 sons, Lyle and Erik, were sociopaths. On August 13th, 1989, Erik Menendez felt like he had nowhere to turn. He even thought about taking his own life. He was that upset over not going to Stanford. He sat there crying. Lyle walked in the house and saw his precious baby brother crying and looked at Erik and said, "What's wrong?" Erik was silent. Erik didn't say anything. Lyle said, "Erik, you can tell me, talk to me. What is it?" And that is when Erik told Lyle that the SA was still going on between he and his father. Lyle told Erik to calm down, to sit down and relax. They were both very shaken up. And as you remember, in part 1, I discussed how Erik had told Lyle when they were young, and Lyle had told Jose when he was around 13, 14 years old to stop touching his baby brother. Lyle wanted to confront Jose. Lyle was exactly like Jose with his demeanor. He was very aggressive, and he wanted to tell his father something. He said he walked into the study. His father sat there with a cigarette. He looked at his father dead in his eyes and said, "You are a sick effing person. I know exactly what's going on between you and Erik, and you're going to stop now. You are never going to touch my baby brother again, or else I will go to the police and I will tell the family as well." Lyle was upset. He said his father looked at him and said, "What I do with my son is none of your business. And we're going to forget this conversation ever took place." Lyle was extremely upset and knew there was nothing he could do. Jose Menendez controlled everything that Lyle and Erik did. So Lyle felt to himself, how can I protect my baby brother? And how can we stop being controlled? What are we going to do now? Lyle and Erik Menendez were not just upset with their father, Jose. Kitty Menendez wasn't exactly Mother of the Year. Erik says that one day he came running down the stairs crying, all upset. And that's when Kitty told him that she had known about the abuse for some time And she looked at the boys and said, "What do you think? I'm stupid?" Erik was devastated. He was upset. He said to himself, "My mother knew about the SA for all these years and did nothing to protect him. Nothing." Kitty Menendez knew that her sons were being SA by her husband, their father, and did nothing. And I'm going to pause right there. I don't care who you are. If you hurt my kids in any type of way, I don't care if you my husband, if you my wife, if you my boyfriend, or you my girlfriend, I don't care who you are. If you hurt my children, we're going to have a problem. But Kitty sat there and did nothing to help her children. I cannot believe this. Erik was getting SA for 12 years, he says. 12 years, and Kitty did nothing. This is when the boys said to each other, we threatened them. We told them that we were going to tell if it happened again. They are going to kill us. The boys believed that Jose and Kitty were going to kill them because they were worried about the secret coming out. Jose Menendez did not want anyone to know what he was doing with his sons. That is when Lyle and Erik Menendez drove to San Diego and purchased 2 shotguns for protection. They believed that their parents were going to attack them at night, and they wanted the shotguns for protection. They wanted to use the shotguns in case they were attacked. 35 years ago, on August 20th, 1989, Lyle Menendez walked in the room and told his mother that he and Erik were leaving. An argument started. Jose Menendez walks in the room, stops the argument, and tells Erik to go upstairs and wait for him. Then Jose and Kitty Menendez walk into the den. Lyle believed that his parents were going to kill them that night. Lyle says he ran upstairs to tell his brother Erik, "It's happening now. They're going to kill us." They were both very shaken up and very afraid. They didn't know what to do, but they believed they were about to be attacked. And this is when Lyle and Erik Menendez loaded up their shotguns, ran downstairs, burst through the doors where their parents were watching TV, and began firing their shotguns. Both parents were shot several times. It was said that Jose Menendez was shot at a very close range in the back of the head. And it was also said that Kitty Menendez was shot in the face, point blank, at a close range. After the shootings ended, Erik Menendez heard a noise coming from his mother. And that is when Lyle Menendez walked over to his mother and shot her. Both these kids didn't want their parents to live. They were upset and they wanted the abuse to stop. They were tired of being controlled by their father, and they were upset with their mother for not protecting them. These boys weren't just shooting. They were shooting to unalive their parents. It was a very horrific and gruesome crime scene. We have all seen the pictures. I'm not going to insert the pictures, but we have all seen the pictures of the crime scene, and it's horrific. It is absolutely horrific. Being shot with a shotgun is not a pretty scene. Next, Lyle and Erik Menendez get in their car and drive to the movie theater to purchase tickets. They wanted to create an alibi. Next, they knew they had to get rid of the guns. Next, they go home. They walk in the house and act like they just found their 2 parents shot dead. Lyle says he ran upstairs, and that is where Lyle made the famous 911 call. He said the police came over and they took over the crime scene. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, I believe that both boys were tired of being controlled by their father, Jose. Jose controlled everything that these boys did, everything. Now, a lot of people say, why didn't the boys just leave? They were over 18, they were adults. But what were the boys gonna do? The boys had no jobs, nowhere to go. Their parents paid all the bills. They had no money. What were they going to do? And I do believe, yes, they could have gone to the police. Yes, they could have done something, but they knew that no one was going to believe them. They had this horrible childhood. Lyle was tired of his father controlling every single part of his life. And Erik was tired of being SA'd as well as being controlled. And they wanted to do something about it. They wanted to make everything stop. And they felt this was the only way the abuse would stop. And I'm just telling y'all, this is my opinion. When two children brutally murder their parents, we have to look behind the scenes and find out what was going on. There is a reason why both these parents were killed. And yes, we have seen several people. I mean, the Amityville horror. We have seen several children that have brutally murdered their parents, and there's nothing going on in the house. But in this situation, there was abuse going on in the house. And the boys loved their father, but feared him at the same time. They didn't know what to do to stop it. Next, we are going to talk about part 3 of the video with the Menendez brothers. I want to thank all of y'all for watching my videos, and I hope that you like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, thank you. I appreciate all the love and support. And for you, I am truly grateful. I will see you with the next video, and just letting you know that I love all of you. Bye.